This is Joy News Prime with me, Samuel Kojo, braised live from our studio here in Kokomlemle, Accra. Coming up in this bulletin, the Speaker of Parliament slams U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris for her comment on LGBTQ plus bill before Parliament, insisting she cannot meddle in local affairs.
The Vice President just did yesterday. I mean, these things should not be told. That is undemocratic. That somebody else will have to dictate to me as to what is good and what is bad.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Vice President backs democratic dispensation that respect the right of citizens and promote free, fair, and transparent elections. Also, in this bulletin, we will take you to the Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast, where Kamala Harris has been delivering an emotional speech after visiting. Now, community boycott nearby school and send their children 2 hours away because they lost the bid for the school to be sited in their community.
When the school was being established here, Japido wanted the school to be in their land because they claimed they were here before settlers came. And when that wasn't done, they refused to bring their children to the school.
Now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has slammed U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris for her comment on the bill on LGBTQ+, which is currently in Parliament. Now, at a joint press conference, the U.S. Vice President, who is on a state visit to the country, expressed concerns about the bill. But Speaker Bagbin said no country should meddle in the affairs of Ghana. But what really did Kamala Harris say?
I have raised this issue. And let me be clear about where we stand. First of all, for the American press who are here, you know that a great deal of work in my career has been to address human rights issues, equality issues across the board, including as it relates to the LGBT community. And I feel very strongly about the importance of supporting the freedom and supporting and fighting for equality among all people, and that all people be treated equally. I will also say that this is an issue that we consider, and I consider, to be a human rights issue, and that will not change.
Let's now listen to Speaker Bagbin, who also criticized President Akufo-Addo, insisting he cannot control Parliament on this bill. He was speaking at a meeting with some religious leaders.
I was so happy when I read that Pope Francis directed that no Reverend Father should celebrate over a gay or lesbian marriage. And I said, Roma locuta complete, causa finita. Yes, Rome has spoken, and the matter is ended. So please, committee members that will refer the bill to, we want the report. Don't be intimidated by any person. Hallelujah. I made this statement when I was a member of the European Parliament, European ACP Parliament in Brussels. Now we have two of our members who happen to be leading our committee, Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, who are handling the bill. And since we referred it to them up to date, we have not heard anything. I've reminded him many times on the floor of the House. What are the challenges you are meeting? Report to us. If you take action against them, say, oh, because I'm MPP. That's why he's taking action against me. I'm NDC, because he's taking action against me, because he's not in my party. That kind of division, that is not the purpose of politics. Politics is meant to unite us. Diversity is natural. There's nothing you can do about it. That is creation, and that is the spice of life. How come we are using that to divide ourselves? Please, let the report flow. We need to legislate. Our friends just pass their law in Uganda. We may not go the way they have gone because our constitution is very clear as to the direction we should move. And so we'll be guided by that. Because if we pass any law against the constitution, it's unconstitutional. So we have to do that. And so what are you afraid of? If you have the whole people behind you, if God is with you, who can be against you? And if God says, please go into the wilderness, multiply and fill the world. That is God giving you that command. If somebody says, please, don't multiply, how can that person be strong? I don't only speak this way in Ghana. Even at the last meeting we attended in IPU at Bahrain, anybody who listened to my speech, there were sentences on this matter. Luckily, maybe because it's a Muslim country, they applauded me. If it's somewhere else, they will be asking questions, as the Vice President just did yesterday.
Now, the Speaker also expresses confusion over the progress of the bill, which is currently before the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament.
And these things should not be tolerated. That is undemocratic. What is democracy? That somebody else will have to dictate to me as to what is good and what is bad? Unheard of. Because we have decided to devalue ourselves and go a-begging. Come on. We have more than enough. God has created more than enough for every person. It's just because you are looking at somebody else's share, not yours. We have enough in the world. The bill will be passed. This is the word to His Excellency the President. There is no way he can intervene. That answer he gave. That is now before Parliament. And when he gets to a stage that he will come in. Hey, please. This is legislation. This is not execution. Wait until we pass it and then we direct you to execute it. That is why you come in. That is why we are representatives of the people. So in terms of law, which is part of policy, we finalize it. And then the executive now have the authority to implement it, to execute it. Let's get this clear. Once this bill is before here, he is not in charge. I am in charge.
Let's now speak to Dr. Ishmael Hlovo, who is an international relations expert on this particular stance by the Speaker. Now, I'm grateful that you could join us here. First, what's your thoughts on the position by the Speaker?
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners. I think that the Speaker has the right to take a stand on issues like this, particularly as it relates to our cultural and social and national issues. So he's entitled to take a stand. But I also think that in terms of either he has the power to decide what the president do next, that's a little bit out of his way, because the executive has a role to play when it comes to both legislation and the implementation of the legislation. As is clearly said, that when it comes to implementation, the executive will come in. Now, I'm wondering if, assuming the bill is passed and the executive is not committing resources to its implementation, that will create a situation where you have a law in your statutes book which is not effectively being implemented. So I think that, yes, he has the right to air his opinion, and we must also somehow differentiate his personal opinion from the opinion of Parliament. Parliament's opinion is only arrived at after going through the processes of parliament, coming to a conclusion through either voting or consensus on a particular issue. So yes, we must also, in a way, try to separate his personal view from the view of parliament, because it may be the case that what he thought will pass easily, there will be people within the legislature who would disagree with the bill. As we have heard, some aspect of the bill, initial bill, has also been amended or reviewed. So I can say that yes, he's entitled to his opinion, but we must also not misconstrue his opinion as that of the whole legislature, because there are different opinions within that house. And if the issue is put to a vote, yeah, maybe his position is what majority of the legislature and Ghanaians are holding, maybe not.
Well, is it not right to also say that, well, you cannot meddle in local affairs, leave us as a country, as sovereign as we are, to then determine our own fate?
Yes, of course, it's right to say that, yes, we have the right to determine our own fate. But then again, if we look at the speech of the woman, of the vice president, it's not specifically telling us that we need to grant them their right, we need to legislate making gay marriage and others legal here. What he's saying is that we need to look at a situation where we can make them feel human. I'm not thinking that she necessarily means that if Ghana does not pass a law that legalizes gay marriage, then there will be consequences for this country. He is making his appeal. He take a particular position. Now, one thing is that we also have our own position, which is that for our cultural setting, this practice is not so accepted to us, it's not acceptable to us. They also come from a different cultural background where they think that the thing is acceptable to them. So we must not be seen as if to say that his opinion is wrong, ours is right. Yes, it may be that her opinion or the opinion of the United States is wrong, our opinion is right. But at the same time, we must realize that the world is full of diversity. Therefore, we must respect their opinion, maintain our own course if we think that that's the right course to take, and let them also have their own course. So yes, he's doing what she's expected to do, try to influence other nations to buy into her opinion. It is left with us to decide if we...
Okay. We are trying to get them to speak...
go with her opinion of America.
We're trying to get them to speak for us, to convince our international creditors like China and the Paris Club to accept to come to the table when it comes to us getting an external debt program with them so that we can get the $3 billion from the IMF. What do you think the position by the speaker, the impact of that position will have on that relationship with US in order to help us, get this $3 billion from IMF?
Oh, I think that the position of the speaker, as he has expressed it, will not necessarily affect what the US can do for us. Remember, it's about influence. So they have other channels to influence government and even the legislature to take certain decisions if they feel like it is necessary or it is in the interest of the United States. So as I from where I'm looking at it, the president and the vice president of the US have had a very useful engagement, and you can clearly see that that is why the president, I think, was a little bit cautious in giving an answer to the question as to either there's a legislation in Ghana that criminalizes gay activities and marriage, because he wants to communicate to two people: one, to the international partners that are currently helping us to achieve one or two issues that we are facing, and of course to the domestic. This time, you observe that the president go a little bit to kind of appear to the international community that Ghana is an open society, while we domestically may not buy into what he is saying. That will be appealing to those countries to come on board. So it will not necessarily jeopardize the relation between Ghana and the U.S.
Doc, I'm grateful for joining us here. Now, still on U.S. Vice President visits to Ghana. The Kamala Harris says the atrocities that were meted out to her forefathers during the slave trade era cannot be easily forgotten. Speaking After going through the gate of no return at the Cape Coast Castle, she indicated the scars of the period still live with humanity.
By what we know also to be the history of those who survived in the Americas, in the Caribbean, those who proudly declare themselves to be the diaspora, who then came out of, in often many situations, odds that were designed to break them, to demoralize them, to create systems and situations that were to make them feel like less than humans, less than full human beings, but yet they survived. And they tell another history, a history of endurance, a history of faith, a history in believing what is possible, a history not only that tells about the ability that each individual has to survive, but to thrive. And so all these stories must be told. All these stories must be told in a way that we take from this place the pain we all feel, the anguish that reeks from this place. And we then carry the knowledge that we have gained here toward the work that we do in lifting up all people, in recognizing the struggles of all people, of fighting for, as the walls of this place talk about, justice and freedom for all people, human rights for all people. So that's what I take from being here. The descendants of the people who walked through that door were strong people, proud people, people of deep faith, people who loved their families, their traditions, their culture, and carried that innate being with them through all of these periods. Went on to fight for civil rights, fight for justice in the United States of America and around the world. And all of us, regardless of your background, have benefited from their struggle.
Now, the Vice President Kamala Harris says her country will continue to support democratic dispensations that respect the rights of citizens and promote free, fair, and transparent elections. Anything short of that, according to her, will stifle innovation and growth. Now, delivering an address at the Black Star Square here in Accra, Madam Harris said businesses invest in an environment where the rule of law is upheld, adding some identified flaws with the democracy. It remains the best system of government.
Mean that the United States of America is all in. It means that the United States is committed to strengthen our partnerships across the continent of Africa. Partnerships with governments, the private sector, civil society, and all of you. Partnerships based on openness, inclusiveness, candor, shared interests, and mutual benefits. And to be clear, America will be guided not by what we can do for our African partners, but what we can do with our African partners. Together, we will address the challenges we face and the incredible opportunities ahead. And today, I will speak about one particular area of opportunity: investment in innovation. Innovation
I believe to be the pursuit of what can be, unburdened by what has been. Innovation results in one's ability not only to see, but to do things differently. New methods, new products, new approaches, new ideas. We innovate to be more effective and to solve problems. From the invention of new technology to the origin of social movements, innovation has come about by challenging the premise, questioning the status quo, and bold thinking.
Also encourage young Africans to strive to contribute their quota to the development of the continent. Now, she is optimistic that this will work towards keeping the mission to realize the vast potential in Africa and its role in shaping the world's future.
To the young leaders here today, you, by your very nature, are dreamers and innovators. And so to you I say, it is your spark, your creativity, and your determination that will drive the future.
Now, to other stories now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin says MPs must not downplay matters of their health. Now, the Speaker formally informed the House of the death of MP for Kumewu, Philip Basua, whose sad event occurred this dawn. Now, the Speaker explained that once MPs pass on, people will be scheming to replace them and must always do well to ensure they are healthy to continue their work.
We should try to reduce the stress that we go through in trying to represent our people. I don't need to emphasize the need for us to do continuous medical check. And I don't need to remind us that the rule is that you should not sit at one place for more than 2 hours, myself inclusive. And so please, when I'm suspending the House, you should understand. The Speaker should not be on the chair continuously for more than 2 hours. It's unhealthy. He came to the House and he was strong. At least he was ready to come in to vote. And whilst we were haggling, it just collapsed. And here we are now. You know, immediately you are no more. The people start thinking about replacing you. I made it clear at Formina when we went for the funeral of one of our former colleagues. I met the constituents wearing the T-shirts of the aspirants, not of the late member of parliament. And I recall saying there that if ever happened to me, which will not happen, and you did that and came to my funeral, I will take you away. Don't worry, it won't happen, so I won't take any of you away. So please, let's take our health seriously.
Some MPs who spoke to Joy News spoke about the stress and the burden their workplaces on them and the need to conduct regular medical checkups.
We have to do routine checkups. We have a clinic in Parliament here, and occasionally we go there and do routine checkups. Many of us are above 50, and no matter what you do, you need to be doing this checkup. And even now, after 40, we have to be doing routine checkup. So it's unfortunate it has happened. Honestly, I knew he was a hypertensive, and I know he was taking his drugs very regularly. I don't know what happened, and he had that blackout all of a sudden. So the stress from constituency, some time from family, and then from the work. If you take time and then be considering your health as a major issue, this is what can happen. Yeah.
This, to be an IP is not easy, because I can tell you on authority about 70 to 80% are on BP drugs, and then most of us are suffering from BP in other, maybe other cardiovascular diseases, and then the demand on us, the pressure, the stress we are going through, the verification, the insults. I mean, being an MP, physically, mentally, and spiritually, people are working against you. So it's not an easy work. It's by His grace of God, that is why most of us are existing. So we will keep on trusting God, but it is not an easy job at all.
To urge members of parliament and even every Ghanaian that a little challenge, a little opportunity you have, go to the hospital, check your blood pressure, check your sugar level, check your cholesterol level. It is just a way. We believe in God. I am a full fan and a very devoted Christian. I believe in miracles, and my faith in my Christianity, I will not downplay it. However, I need to do my human part to get my God to also keep me alive and do something. So it's a sad moment. It's a very difficult time, and we'll call on every Ghanaian to pray with the family in these times. We'll call on every Ghanaian to sympathize with the family at this time. It's not about politics. It's about the challenge that we are facing.
Now, some members of parliament share their fond memories of the late Philip Baswa.
It is very pathetic and sad at this moment. This week we'll be going on recess, so it's very unfortunate. My condolences to the family, and then our hearts and mind remain with the family.
I am down, honestly, because we were together here on Thursday. We closed so late. Only to hear that on Friday morning he was taken ill and was admitted at Lekma Hospital. We have all been praying for him. He was later transferred to Kolebu. And this morning, on our platform, early morning, we saw that he has passed away. It's unfortunate, but nobody can challenge God. So we just give the family and then the parliament condolence. There's nothing we can do.
A sad moment for us as a caucus, as an institution, as a party, and as a country. He was a fine gentleman, indeed. We were on the same floor. He was number 8, and I was number 9 on the 7th floor. And we usually have a pep talk, mostly in the mornings, or even when Parliament is suspended and we are going, we talk to find how things will work around. Indeed, on a Thursday morning, we had a good chat. In the afternoon, we had a good chat. Praying, are we going to go through with all these challenges that come in? So we're going to have it done. We're going to go through. They should be rest assured and all that.
In fact, I'm very shocked because I know Honorable Baswa, Philip Baswa, as MP for Kumau. I came Parliament with him the same time, 2013. This is our 3rd term. So I know he's also punctual, always attending his duties and work. But it's unfortunate. He was here on Thursday. It's a Friday that when I saw that he wasn't here during the time that we were voting, that when his name was mentioned, that we saw that, I saw that he wasn't there, he wasn't present. That I was, it baffled me that, this guy is always present, so where is he? So finally I heard that he couldn't come, and his people were calling him to come because the MPP also didn't know what happened to him, that he was not here. So they were calling to find out where he was.
May the good Lord keep the soul of the departed member of parliament there. I will take a quick break here. I'll be back with more news. Stay with us. Now, 2 communities without schools lobbied government for a school to be built in their area. One community was more persuasive, and so the school was established in the community because it had numbers. Now, instead of sharing the school facility, the community that lost out on the bid to have the school sited in their area decided to boycott the nearby school and rather took their children to a school which is about 2 hours away from their community. Jojo Kobina delves into why the people of Japido and Tadando in the Kwandai district of the Northern region intermarry and trade but cannot share a simple school.
Once upon a time, a community called Japido in the Kwandai district of the Northern region welcomed a group of people who later formed another community called Tadando. The 2 communities lived side by side, traded, intermarried, and related so well together. There was no school in the 2 communities, so they decided to establish an informal school. They hired the services of a teacher to educate their children. As the number of children grew in both communities, the government decided to establish the school for the 2 communities. This was some good news. But it was at this point that the communities disagreed. They all wanted the school built on their land.
When the school was about being established here, Japido wanted the school to be in their land because they claimed they were here before Tadando settlers came. And when that wasn't done, they refused to bring their children to the school. I think if we meet the community elders, we may get the reasons from the horse's own mouth.
So I went to Tadando to hear their side of the story. Kojo Samuel is a community leader at Tadando.
No, I say school am ever better than no. Nti mo na ye mpanyifo, mo na di kan betena aha nti mo ma kwan se o ba di mo kura de den ade aba etan na ha. Nti ti sa de mo ye den o mo mba. Nti nti na mo mba.
The people of Tadando softened their stance and said they wanted the school built in Japido, but based on the large number of children in Tadando, officials of the Ministry of Education decided to set up the school just at the boundary between the 2 communities.
The director of Pandai no aba aba frɛ mo sɛ te sade nkan first school sɛ Japido ni Tadando primary school na first school yɛ nsi fimfim nti nti wo sɛ Japido ko mo pɛsɛ mo frɛ school sɛ Japido primary school nya din nti me ko sɛ ade nti mo first school no Japido Tadando ndi hia school na sɛ na yɛ na hia school no wa Japido a yɛtar no for yɛbɛkɔ.
The people of Japido wanted a school built on their land because they were the first settlers, so they decided to boycott the nearby school and rather enrolled their children over 5 kilometers away. Their children walk over 10 kilometers daily to access school. The children are not happy with the situation, but they have no choice.
My parents told me I'm not going to Tarano, I'm going to Balai, but the time in school here, in school Tarano, the fight, she told me to go to Balai.
You want to go to Tarando?
No.
Why?
Because of fight. The 5 o'clock you wake up and go to Balai. It's too far.
What time do you leave the house?
5 o'clock.
What time did you get to school?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
Yes.
So you are tired?
Yes.
When they born me, my parents said that we should not go there to school. That's why we are not going there.
So why are you not going to the next school?
My father told me that they were fighting, that I couldn't go to dance school.
So I asked the fathers in Japido why they would punish their children by making them walk long distances when they can simply send them to Tadando. What is just 5 minutes walk?
Any balai. So
Obi ekira wo se nani abuya wonso ojimino fa ojimino.
Very young children therefore do not attend school because of the long distance. The children stay at home until they are old enough to walk over 10 kilometers to enjoy the right to education.
Say baby amusi school no yampesa school no njira ho. Aha na ya register sa school. One, no musi omo eye nimpa don chen. Say yes. Na abenso eje tum say nko mo be ye bibia omo fe population. Say omo say omo chen sa say population omo de yade. Say omo don se chen.
One very interesting thing is that when a Japido man meets a Tarando woman and they fall in love and they eventually marry, the end product, the children, if they end up living here in Japido, all the children would have to go to Balai, that is several kilometers away, instead of just a 5 minutes walk to Tadando Primary School. It's very interesting. But after engaging them, the people are saying that they will only go to Tadando on one condition.
Ne aban edibe pataye na yenso ya na agino nka odi JSS ba ha na omu be siawe na omu asesi na ya ni ahu say JSS ebe si Japido a ye be ko.
So as it stands now, if the government delays building a school at Japido, the children would have to walk over 10 kilometers to access education. Jojo Kobna, Joy News.
You're so much enjoying News Prime. Up next, the Showbiz. All right, so time for us to bring you Showbiz, and the queen of the business, Becky Bex, the almighty, all-looking, beautiful looking Becky is here. Hi.
Hello to you, Brace.
F1.
Mercury have Fonama.
F1A.
Okay. Let me give you all the stories. Ghana month is almost over, so let's talk about the stories. So Basket Mouth is in Ghana. He is, fantastic comedian. He was on Hit FM. He's been talking about quitting comedy in the next 5 years.
Really?
Yes, let's listen to him.
For the past 6 years, I've just been floating, Then last year I told myself and my team that, you know what, I'm coming back to comedy and I'm going to do 5 years and I'm quitting. Yeah, so I'm quitting in 5 years. I've got 5 more years to go to do this and I'm done.
But you can't quit.
No, like the thing is, I can. So there's a plan. I've got the way I plan my life. I'm like, okay, when you get to 50, you stop, you drop the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be cracking jokes every now and then, but it's not going to be a professional thing for me.
Okay.
So if you see me doing a gig, it's just maybe I'm doing pro bono.
Okay.
Or but I will not charge anybody to perform again. You understand? Because I've made enough. I won't say I've made enough, but I've committed myself to the art long enough to go like, you know what, take a break or quit, and whatever you're doing from now till the end of time is you're just having fun. Because I'm into TV right now, movie series and all that, concerts, production. That's where I want to try. I want to start a new journey. I want to experience something new. I'm going to be doing at the end of 5 years. That's like 31 years in the game.
Oh, wow.
That's a long time. That's pretty much more than half of my life.
Yeah, sure.
So I want to do something else, and I want to be remembered for other things other than
legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we all want to be remembered for something, extraordinary. What do you want to be remembered for, though?
For my good things to society.
Right. How many of them you done?
I've done quite a number for Hunter West, where I'm from.
Great.
As for that, when you go there and you ask them, they'll tell you.
Great. Well, don't forget that Basket Mouth has an event here in Ghana. It's called Unprovoked, and it will be it will be live at the conference center, Accra International Conference Center, on the 8th of this month. Let's listen to him.
I'm not a language person, even my own local dialect. I don't speak it fluently. Okay. So, and I said to myself, I said, you know, Bright, take it upon yourself, learn it. So the next show, because what I want to start doing is, I want to start doing my annual show every year in Ghana, starting from this year. I have 5 more years, so I have to make it count.
Oh, yes, it'll count.
I have to make it count.
Yes. The 5th year when you are retiring, to all be in our local language.
Yeah, man. I was actually guess what? On my way here, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I can speak your language?
And people will laugh at
on stage and do a proper set.
Yes.
Do you understand? It's gonna be sick. Trust me, I'm gonna do it. I have 5 years to learn it.
Well, Basket Mouth right there. But Brace, let's talk about Jonathan Majors. He is an American actor. So the great actor Jonathan Majors has been charged with assault and harassment following an incident involving a woman in a New York apartment. That 30-year-old woman was allegedly assaulted by Majors on Saturday in what police said was a domestic dispute. Lawyers for the actor have denied any wrongdoing. They have suggested the 33-year-old is actually the victim of the altercation. The NYPD said they were called around 11:14 local time on Saturday after receiving a 911 call from an apartment in Manhattan's Chelsea district. They added the woman, who has been named, suffered minor head and neck injuries and was taken to the hospital. In her complaint, she claimed that Major slapped her and put his hand on her neck, injuring her and causing her substantial pain, according to Variety magazine. Major's criminal defense lawyer has said there is a video footage and witness testimony to support their claim that he was the victim, and the woman in question, who was known to him, has recanted her allegations. So that's Creed actor Jonathan Majors, and we hope that this ends soon. Doesn't end in the other assault cases that we've seen or heard over the years in America concerning black men in the industry. So Brace, that'll be all for Showbiz. If we have more time, if they give us more time, we will do more.
Thank you very much. Now, that will be all in our bulletin for you today. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. But before we go, kindly remember to brush your teeth tonight before you sleep, and brush tomorrow morning when you wake up. Brush your teeth with either Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, Pepsodent Charcoal, Pepsodent Herbal, or Pepsodent Triple Protection. Remember, with Pepsodent, every smile matters. Thank you for your company. There's more here on this channel. Good evening.